Hello, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, November 24th, 2021. I'm in the city of Fullerton. I'm going down this little canyon right near the Panorama Nature Preserve. This street right up here is Ladera Vista, which is near the major intersection of Aston Sherian State College. So, what am I doing in this random canyon? Well, been here a couple times before. It's been quite a while, actually. It's been a good few years since I've been over here. I've been pretty far down this canyon before. It becomes quite a bushwhack once you get down the canyon. I remember years ago, my friend and I went way down this canyon. Just gotta watch your step because there's a little washout area right here. Just gotta watch your step. This is not really a designated trail, but been down in this canyon a few times before. It's been, like I said, it's been quite a few years. I mean, I stopped up by the top there back in 2019. But I remember going through this canyon here, and it's a pretty neat little spot. I'm gonna see how far I can or am willing to go today. It's a little bit more overgrown than I remember it. Patch of coastal sage scrub over here. And I got these pepper trees right here. These are Peruvian Peppertree, Schinus molle. Remember, it used to not be so hard to get through here. I'm trying to say, you used to be able to get through here quite easily. I don't know if that's still the case. Looks like it's a little bit different looking down here than it used to be. I think pieces of this tree have fallen over. But yeah, you notice on the way down, all this very dry stuff. This is a coastal sage scrub. Driest time of the year. Winter rains have not yet started. Trying to see if this is going to be feasible. Well, oh God, crud. Bushwhack through the pepper trees a little bit. Remember, used to be able to get through here. Used to be some cool things down here. Let's see if they're still around. There's a lot of big washouts over here. Wow. This ravine is sure washed out. Let's see if I can get down here a little bit. Ooh. Yikes. Maybe I should have gone around the other way. Let's see if I can go around the other way instead. So it's loose. All the duff under these pepper trees, very loose. Oh man. Oh. this way. I don't remember being so much of a bushwhack. Oh boy. There's not much to grab on over here. Oh boy. Son of a biscuit. Not much to grab on over here. Oh crap. Never mind. Was hoping to make a nice little adventure out of this. Maybe not. Don't really see any other way around this. Let's see. Really don't feel like walking in the canyon. Got my pants all nice and dirty. Got out of work at 1 o'clock. Let's see. Need to try to get a running start on this. Using these as ropes to get me up. Boy, this is a pain in the butt. Whew. All right. Maybe I went down a different angle. Here we are. Remember this area right here. Probably some prickly pears. Try to see if I can figure out how tight this is. Sorry, buddy. Trying to look at the shape of the spines to figure out what kind of prickly pear this is. Because if they have flattened spines, it's most likely Western prickly pear, Opuntia occidentalis. If they have rounded and square spines and cross sections, it's coast prickly pear. So I'm trying to get an idea what type of prickly pear this is. See, if they're flattened, there's a chance it's either Opuntia occidentalis or Opuntia vasii, which are western and mesa prickly pears, respectively. And of course, we've got these fruits. I think this is coast prickly pear. Yeah, they're kind of square in cross-section. Coast prickly pear is supposed to have round and square in cross-section spines. I'm talking about these big, these long spines that stick out from the pads. So it looks like we got coast prickly pear here. But usually coast prickly pears have more spines per areole. The areole are these little spots here. See the shape of these. Let's see here. I hate doing this. I hate breaking pieces off, but I'm just trying to figure out what I'm looking at. Okay, this one's flat. This one's flat. And if so, this might actually be, yeah, this appears to be Opuntia occidentalis actually. Kind of flat in cross section. Sometimes you kind of have to look very carefully at them. Very carefully, I may add. So, and a lot of times the spines will be usually flat in cross section. So likely this is likely Opuntia occidentalis, possibly Opuntia vasii, but likely Opuntia occidentalis. Opuntia vasii, Opuntia occidentalis, and Opuntia littoralis have all been recorded from the Fullerton area. So it does kind of make things a little interesting. So I'm kind of looking at these spines. Yeah, some of them are kind of in between. Some of these spines are actually kind of in between. But I remember years ago, I actually got a couple pads from this thicket right here, and I have them growing at home. I actually have prickly pears at home. I believe it was from this thicket over here. So I actually have these plants growing at home. I've always wondered whether they're occidentalis or littoralis. The ones that I have seem to have more square, but I think they're supposed to have square and round spines. I don't see any spines that appear to be round, I don't think. Let me see. It's hard to tell. Actually, this one does have some round ones as well. So what this is telling me, the larger spines seem to be square in cross section, and the smaller spines tend to be a little more rounded. So what this is telling me is that we're looking at Opuntia littoralis. Okay, so this is actually this is coast prickly pear. This is Opuntia littoralis. So yeah, I'm getting this information from Fred M. Roberts and Robert Allen's Wildflowers of Orange County in the Santa Ana Mountains. They go into detail and try to explain how to separate these very similar species and hybrids of cactus. Opuntia occidentalis and Opuntia vasii are actually hybrids of different types of prickly pear, and coast prickly pear is a species, regular species. So it would look like Opuntia X vasii and Opuntia X occidentalis. So you see that little X, which denotes hybrid. So looks like we got coast prickly pear over here. But then again, some of them seem to have flattened spines, and that would key out more towards vasii and Opuntia occidentalis as opposed to Opuntia littoralis. So, alright, I think I know why. I think I knew why I had so much trouble coming down. It's because I came a little bit differently. See, I remember this area right here was more mellow and not as troublesome. Yeah, I remember this spot right here. Underneath these pepper trees. After this is where it becomes a lot more difficult to follow. But I guess, you know, some people do kick it down here. I remember friend Brett and I have gone quite a ways down this canyon years ago. It's just hard to get in there. It's hard to get back too. But yeah, I remember these pepper trees here. I didn't have to do much bushwhacking. But look at this beautiful pepper tree. Look at that. Really nice looking specimen here. So I guess somehow we got down in that little ravine and we had followed it quite a ways down canyon. It's a lot more overgrown than I remember it. And we got, here's another non-native right here. This is called horehound. It's Peruvian vulgare. It's a non-native member of the mint family, the Lamiaceae. It's a perennial herb. I guess these little white flowers. And they used the sap of this plant to make what they call horehound candy. I guess for medicinal purposes usually. I guess, but that's one of the non-natives that you do quite often find here, growing here in Southern California. A small population. Here's another non-native right here. Tree tobacco, Nicotiana glauca. We actually have native species of Nicotiana here in Southern California, like Nicotiana quadrivalvis, which is an annual herb. But this is a non-native perennial shrub to nearly tree size at times. Big glaucous leaves is why they got the name glauca. But then you get these little seed capsules right here. And these things spread like crazy. You'll see them in a lot of urban areas and wild areas too. This plant's very toxic. I've heard that people try to suck the nectar out of the flowers. They get these yellow tubular shaped. Oh, here we go. Perfect. These yellow tubular flowers that people sometimes like to suck the nectar out of. That is a very extremely ill-advised thing to do, because the plant does have a lot of toxins in it. So do not, I repeat, do not ingest any part or smoke any part of this plant. This is not the tobacco that you smoke. It doesn't I know it's supposed to have a toxic compound called anabasine, I believe. So do not smoke, do not eat this plant. Some people like to grow it ornamentally, but it spreads very, very easily. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty neat looking plant. I mean, I grew up with it. You see it a lot in San Diego too, is where I grew up part of my life. And this one's like about 10, 12, maybe 15 feet tall. So these things can get to be the size of small trees. They're not very strongly woody. I believe they develop some wood, but most of the plant is herbaceous. It's mostly woody based and very softly woody. But it is a perennial, and it loves disturbed sites. There you go. There's another one right there. This is a plant that loves to grow in disturbed sites. And this is most definitely a disturbed site. The sage scrubs have been cleared out. They planted pepper trees decades ago. Some of these pepper trees are getting quite old, it looks like. And of course, pepper tree is another non-native. A lot of times they call this California pepper tree, Schinus molle, because it's so commonly seen growing here in California. But it's not a California native. It's from South America, like Peru and stuff like that. So it is not a native tree, even though a lot of people probably think it is because of its commonly cited nature. All those light green, those are all Peruvian pepper trees, all grown along here. Like I said, some of the trees over here are a little bit older. These have been around quite a bit longer. The first ones I bushwhacked through were real gnarly, and they were getting quite old. But they're quite graceful trees. But as graceful as they are, as graceful and soft as they look, they are very tough. And they're very good at withstanding heat, drought, and I'm not sure if they spout from fire though. That I'm not sure. And then we do have the native Baccharis pilaris, subspecies consanguinea, coyote brush. This is native. And of course, also native is the blue elderberry, Sambucus niger variety cerulean. So we got that going here too. So I don't think I'm going to be going any further because this is going to turn into a bushwhack and a scramble. But